Hey, Raindrops. Hey, I got my boy, your favorite content creator and love and marriage expert, Dustin Ross, stepping in to my YouTube channel to talk to the cast of Love and Marriage DC. And every week, Dustin will be interviewing a cast member from the show. Y'all gonna get all the tea, all the mess, and the rest for the whole season. This is so good. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel and hit the notification button so you do not miss an episode. I love you, Raindrops. Mwah!
It is so nice to meet you. How you doing,
Same
Erana?
here. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing wonderful today. I can't wait to get into all things Love and Marriage DC with you. You know, I'm a huge fan of the show from day one. So this is a very exciting conversation for me. I'm really
Hey,
excited about today.
thank you. Look, I'm excited to have you interview me because I watch your commentary on Carlos King's podcast.
Oh, wonderful. Okay,
I always
okay,
tell people, I
cool.
said, I like
I
Dustin.
guess we can go ahead and get started then. First of all, welcome, Erana, to Reality with the King. We're so excited to have you here today. How are you feeling today, Erana?
I'm doing great. I feel great. Thank you for having me.
That's wonderful. You know, first things first, I want to start our conversation by letting you know that you are one hell of a mother. Okay.
Oh,
I think
thank
that's one of
you.
you're more than welcome. I think that's one of the things that endeared me as a fan of the show to you and your family initially was just how hard you love your children. You can
Yeah.
really tell. I'll never forget the scene where you and your son, little Jamie, were car shopping. And you
Mhm.
had a really sensitive personal conversation and you just expressed your love to him. And that really locked me in. I have a really soft spot for Black families and that sort of love. And the way that you and your husband love your children is really admirable. So I want to give you props for that for
Thank
sure.
you. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of your children, it's been a minute since we caught up with the Tylers. What is going on with your three beautiful children right now? Can you update us on them?
Sure. So let me start with Brittany, who's the
Okay.
oldest. Brittany is doing great. She just got a promotion, a supervisory position
Wonderful.
with the government. So that's a plus.
Wonderful.
She's doing great. She has her own house. You know, she's traveling, hanging out with her friends. So she's doing good. Little
Good.
Jamie, he's doing good as well. You know, he's making progress. You know, I know you
Wonderful.
won't see, you know, the first season and first half of the second season where he was kind of like coming off of, you know, what he's supposed to be doing. But he's actually making progress. He's going to work. He's still working with the school.
Wonderful.
He loves the kids. Looking for additional, you know, income or additional another job or something that he can get into.
Yes.
He's doing great now. And Jason, who they call
Yeah.
the star of Love and Marriage DC, he's
Yes.
doing absolutely great. He graduated from the program
Wonderful.
October of last year. He's home now. He's looking for a job. So he wants to find something to do. And we're working with other programs right now currently. He just did a speaking engagement at Bowie University yesterday.
Yes.
He did great. This guy is coming out with this app, and he
Hmm.
wants him to be the face of the app, and it's going to be great for him because it's going to be for the sighted and the unsighted.
Absolutely.
Jason is really good with technology. He works his phone, you know, really good by himself. He has his own social media that he runs, but he's doing really, really good.
Well, we love to hear that Jason, Brittany, and little Jamie all have great personalities. And that's one of the special things about these ensemble cast reality shows that follow families. We get to follow just that, the journey of the family. So we're so happy to hear those positive things about
Thank,
your children. So we love that.
thank you.
Speaking of your children, Arena, in this episode, there was a big conversation between you and the Silva family regarding comments that Quicksilver had made about your son, little Jamie. Now, we
Yes.
all know, like I said at the beginning of the conversation, you are a mama bear for real, a loving mama bear. But you made it clear in that conversation that, hey, if little Jamie is upset, that's the priority here, and that's what we're here to address. Tell me, let's dial back to the beginning of that situation. Were you there when Jamie saw the comments being made? Did little Jamie contact you first with his feelings? How did all of that come about?
So, as you know, while we were filming the second half of the season, we were actually able to watch the show on
Yes,
TV while we were filming. Um,
yes.
and it was a
Interesting.
comment, yeah. So when when we're filming, we don't get to see everybody's scenes because if we're not
Mhm.
part of it, we don't get to see it until it's shown on TV.
So
So
you watch it just like we
yeah,
do.
we
It's
watching
new.
it just
It's
like you
new for
guys,
you. Yeah.
but we're filming as well. So which was kind
Yeah.
of hard for us because we're like, oh shit, she's saying this. I thought we were cool. And then when we
Yeah.
sing, we're switching up because we're like, oh, I thought we were cool, but you just said this on
Right.
TV
I just heard
yesterday.
that shit you said on the show last week. So
Exactly.
yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
that's what happened with Lil Jamie was the scene between Ashley and Quick in their room. And they were saying something about their son Antonio, and kind of comparing the two, which is impossible to compare because Lil Jamie's almost 30. He's a
Yeah.
grown man.
Antonio's what, like 14?
Antonio, I don't think he can even drive yet. Yeah, he's
Okay,
young,
yeah.
so you can't compare the two. But what really bothered Lil Jamie is when he used Lil Jamie as an example,
Mm-hmm.
when Lil Jamie was saying, like, you could have used yourself. You have a
Sure.
background where you said you were stabbed and you were shot. You had a hard upbringing. Why not use yourself when you're talking with your son and don't use me? Because
For
you really
sure.
don't know me like that. You
Mm-hmm.
wasn't around when I was getting into trouble
Mm-hmm.
when I was 15 or younger. So you can't really speak and use me as an example. So he just pretty much was like, just use yourself as an example.
Yeah.
Keep me out of the
Yeah.
conversation between you and your kids.
For sure. And I understand that. I mean, me personally, I think we all have a story to tell. We all have grown up and experienced growing pains. And I think it's very brave of not only you and your husband, but also little Jamie himself to share that and to be vulnerable on such a large stage. So I can understand him not wanting that to be attached to his character in that way and not wanting to be the poster child for what a bad quote unquote kid is. That was understandably offensive. How did you feel in that conversation about Quicksilver's disposition? Did you feel he was open to working towards an agreement? Because as viewers, we were very happy to see Quicksilver and little Jamie hug and make amends in that moment. But how did you feel about the way that DJ Quicksilver showed up to that conversation?
Well, look, Quicksilver was really upset, as you
Mm-hmm.
guys will see. And I think the reason he was really upset is because he wanted Lil Jamie to reach out to him versus
Mm,
going on social media with his rant.
mm-hmm.
I do remember when Lil Jamie went on social media because he was really upset. And as
Sure. Yeah.
parents, we did tell him, like, Lil Jamie, don't bring that to social media.
Mm-hmm.
If you got an issue or, if you want to have a conversation with Quick, reach out to Quicksilver. You have his phone number. I think at the time, I think Quick was traveling. He was on the plane. But I can't really control a grown man. Lil Jamie is my son. Yes. I am
Mm-hmm.
the mother. Yes. I can say, don't do certain things.
You can
But as a
advise
grown
him.
man, yeah, I can advise him, but he's going to make his own decisions. And
Mm-hmm.
because he was so upset that this was on TV,
Mm-hmm.
and he has a right to be upset, and
Yeah.
he went on social media and said what he needed to say. Um, he's not 15, he's not 10. I can't take his
Yeah.
phone. I can't take Instagram off his phone and say, you can't use this anymore. That's his phone. He pays his own phone bill. He does.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I can see both sides. Like, Quick, Lil Jamie looks up to Quick,
Mm-hmm.
even Ashley. I told Ashley that too. When he think of the Silvers, he think of both of them. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
Quick Silver, he's a well-known DJ, celebrity DJ, and then his wife.
Yep.
So when they come to him with advice and things, he takes the advice, but he was very hurt to hear on TV that Quicksilver called him a bad kid. And
Yeah.
that was really what set him off. And it was nothing we could do, nothing Jamie could say, nothing that I could say to calm
Yeah.
him down and tell him not to do these things on social media. And it just went from there.
I
And
love the way
we actually was able to have a conversation because Ashley
mm,
called me
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
she was like, what's going on social media? We always had these conversations. We need to address it. So I'm coming over. Let's talk and have a
Yeah.
conversation with the family and see if we can address it and we can have some type of resolution.
I love that.
And the resolution and the conversation, the conversation that we were having was actually filmed.
I
And
love that.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was pretty intense because Quicksilver, I guess he was just so upset from Lil Jamie not reaching out to him and versus going on social media. He already came in amped up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh,
There was passion there. There was
yeah,
passion there. I think that represents the love that they have for your family, right? And for little Jamie. Sometimes it's hard as men, we have really, really big egos and a lot of pride. And approaching a situation like that where we're here to have some sort of resolve, it's hard to be vulnerable when you feel like you've been wronged in some way. And although ultimately the onus of responsibility was on the elder in the situation, right? Which would be DJ Quicksilver to little Jamie. I think DJ Quicksilver harbored a little bit of resentment for the way that things went on, like you just said. And we were happy to see that. What I also love to see, though, and what I've seen previously is a tenderness or a soft spot that Ashley Silva has for your son, little Jamie. She's drawn several parallels to their experience, and she just has always had an openness and a tenderness to him. I was very happy to see that show up in that conversation when she sort of told little Jamie, basically, I understand why being deemed a bad kid would offend you or trigger you in that way. And we love to see that. What is the status of Ashley Silva and Quicksilver's relationship with little Jamie today? Is everything still pretty much on the up and up?
There's no relationship.
Okay.
They're not speaking. And I believe it's because the tension between the Silvas and his parents, which is
Okay.
me and James. Um, you know,
Really? Okay.
a lot has transpired off camera after we
Yeah.
finished filming. Social media, being in events together. So there's no relationship with Lil Jamie and the Silvas at all.
Okay. Well, I guess without jumping too far ahead, that we'll just put a pin in that part of the conversation. Wow, okay. So many questions now with that. Well, there's also been an introduction, right? Love and Marriage DC started off with you and your husband having a great relationship. You and the Silvers were sort of the anchors of the show, right? And that relationship was sort of intact. Well, we've been introduced to new characters along the way. We've had the introduction of Winter to the cast, and her story that accompanied her, and we've now had the introduction of Joy and Clifton Petty to the cast as well. Those of us that follow the show off and on camera, we see that friendships have formed, real bonds have formed between yourself and the Pettys. We love seeing that relationship, and we've also seen the Tylers and Winter hanging out. Do you think that these new friendships have influenced any sort of um, pause or interruption in the friendship between yourself and the Silvas?
So if you guys are paying attention to what's happening currently,
Mm-hmm,
there's
mm-hmm,
no
mm-hmm,
relationship with the Tylers and Winter. Winter is
mm-hmm,
pretty much Team Silva. She's
mm-hmm,
over there with the Silvas.
mm-hmm.
They're hanging out, they're besties, and they're doing things together. The Tylers are hanging out with the Pettys.
Okay.
So that's the only couple on the show that we actually hang out with off and on camera.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Winter. So Winter is over there with the Silvas.
Okay, and will we see more of the story, the path, the journey that led to maybe that sort of placement of those relationships? Will we see that as the season unfolds?
You will probably understand why that decision was
Mm-hmm,
made and why
mm-hmm.
we're not really close to the Silvers anymore, or why we're not friends with the Silvers. When the show plays out, you will understand why. You will see certain things that were said and how, the
The
couple,
impact.
the
Yeah,
impact on it, and, just certain things that you'll see without trying to give out too much
for
information.
sure.
But when you watch the episodes play out, then you'll understand. And then you'll also see from the reunion,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Which you guys have already
really
filmed.
understand what
There's
happened.
so much.
Yeah,
There's
because
so much
it
that we're yet to
wasn't
see.
really a lot that happened while we were filming. For the reason
Mm-hmm,
why the Silvers and the Tylers are no longer friends. It
mm-hmm.
wasn't really much that was filmed. It was more so that things that happened off camera
During your off season.
during the
That
off season, and yeah, it was a lot that happened. And I don't know if you want me to get into it.
Well, hey, listen, this is your opportunity. That's why we love this space of conversation, because
Right.
we can supplement the things that we see on the show with firsthand, honest takes, honest reactions, and honest reflections on what has going on. So the floor is yours, Erana. Anything that you want to share regarding that without giving too much away of what we will see on the show?
I just want to
Yeah.
give you all some backstory on the
Hmm.
relationship between the Tylers and the Silvers.
Yes.
I've been hearing a lot of seeing comments about why Erana didn't check on Ashley first because we
Hmm.
supposed to be so close and good friends.
Hmm.
Let me just explain to you. I knew Quicksilver.
Hmm.
Quicksilver used to DJ parties for my husband 10, 15 years ago. He was
Back
his
in the
DJ
day.
at all his parties back in the day.
Hmm.
I knew of Ashley because that's his wife. I probably saw Ashley one time in the club.
Hmm.
The next time I saw Ashley was when we were at film Love and Marriage DC season 1.
So you built that relationship in real
While
time.
we were filming.
Okay.
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 Ashley and Quick has never come to the Tyler's house until season 2, filming,
Wow.
not off camera, filming.
Wow.
Ashley and I started building a relationship season 1. Okay.
Hmm.
So it's not like Erana and Ashley were friends years ago. I knew
Hmm.
of her. I seen her many, many years ago, and we just saw each other again before we started filming.
So you guys got to know each other as we got
Yeah,
to know you as viewers. You
exactly.
guys
We
were
built
getting
a
to know each
friendship.
other.
Yeah, and then we would do stuff outside of filming as well. You know, we
Hmm.
went to birthday parties or we'll go out to dinner. We went to a movie
Hmm.
premiere, but it wasn't like we were hanging tough like that because I'm not that type of, I've never been that type of girl that would hang out with girls. I've
Hmm.
never been that girl that just hang out with girlfriends.
Hmm.
I've
Hmm.
always
Yeah.
shared my time with my husband. And we
Yeah.
always shared our time with other couples. You know,
Yeah.
so it wasn't like he hung out with his friends and I was hanging out with my girl. I've never been that person. So when
Yeah.
we actually did hang out, it was a movie premiere. We would go to celebrate one of the other cast members at their birthday dinner, you know, but it wasn't constantly hanging out. But like I said,
Hmm.
what was season 1 is when we started getting to really know each other.
Yeah. This
So
makes sense
I want
because
people to
now,
stop thinking that we were best friends or we've been friends for years, and we haven't.
yeah, that makes sense because when she was using the analogy of spelling the word friend and were you a friend or a friend with the D, and then as time progressed, she was open about adding the D, quote
Yeah,
unquote,
'cause
to
we
the
were
terms of
hanging
your
out
friendship. So you were building that in real time. Uh,
and we were having a great time. We were cool,
yeah,
but it
yeah,
was for real
okay,
time. So, you know, the fact that people say, you know, I went to check on Joy first, you know, what was that, a year apart when I met Joy from the
yeah,
meeting, like really hanging out with Ashley? Even if I did see Ashley, like, does it matter who I went to check on first?
right.
Common
Because in
sense.
your mind, they're both fairly new
They're
relationships
both family.
that you're
My
building.
girlfriend, my friends that I've been knowing for 10, 15, 20 years, they're not on the show. And I told
Yeah,
them they would never be on the show. I have
that's
any
right.
say so in that,
To
no, because
protect
I want
that.
to keep my friendship with my
Mhm,
friends.
mhm,
Joy is on the show, yes, but we still hang out. We got a good relationship. You know, her and Clifton are married. We hang out as
mhm.
couples because that's what my husband and I love to do. We like to hang out with other couples. That's what we
Yeah. So do you guys bring a Carmen too? When they bring Carmen along when y'all hang out, or how does that work?
listen. Let me tell you, I'm not even going to tell you about Carmen because I don't want to spoil it. But
Okay,
there's
okay.
so much to come about Miss Carmen. But Carmen, no, she's not hanging with us.
So according to the timeline that we see now at episode, what is this, 2, right? Episode 2 of season 3
Episode 2
that
coming
we
up.
just viewed, right? How do you feel at that point? How does Erana feel about the relationship between Joy and Clifton and Carmen? How do you feel? Does that make sense to you? Do you understand it? Because I saw in the preview for that next week,
Don't
you
make
had a few
sense.
questions.
It don't make sense. It don't make
Yeah,
sense. Doesn't make
yeah.
sense. And the only reason I just was quiet about it because if
Mhm.
they love it, what can I do?
It's
You
none of
know,
our business,
Joy
right?
and Clifton really like Carmen.
Hmm.
They like Carmen.
Did you think she was
My
like
ears,
when she came
antennas went
on?
up.
When she came on and she stroked his beard, the comfort level between her and Clifton, was that odd to
Inappropriate.
you? Or yeah, okay,
Very
inappropriate?
inappropriate.
Yes, yeah,
And as you're gonna see in this not this episode, upcoming episodes, Joy and I gonna have a conversation about that because
okay,
I'm like, who does this? Like, what woman allows this lady that you just met
Mm-hmm.
on a show that had an interest in your husband
And
come
interest,
around,
in her
yeah,
husband.
come around and kind of like in the mix of your marriage. Like, this doesn't make sense. And for her to be touching on his face, saying inappropriate things, which you all gonna see, it's just, it doesn't sit right with me. And I
Yeah.
told her, I said, look, I've been married for almost 30 years. You have to protect your marriage. And I'm not just talking about Carmen, I'm just talking about women in general that come around
Yeah.
your, you have to keep your eyes and your ears open.
Yeah.
Pay
Yeah.
attention to the little things. But the little things, Carmen is just out there just doing it right in everybody's face.
She's doing
And
it big.
it's very disrespectful. It's very
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of viewers shared that same sentiment. We, listen, we live in a world where we want to be as progressive as possible. And at the end of the day, we respect everybody's choices, right? Everybody's free to do it their way. But when we're watching this and trying to understand it, I think it begs the question of what the hell is going on,
Yeah,
right?
I would never allow that.
Yeah, yeah.
But like you said, some people
Different strokes, right?
strokes for different folks. But for me personally, I think it's very disrespectful. I would never allow anything like that around my husband.
Yeah. I think that Joy and Clifton have been really great additions to Love and Marriage DC. I think they're connected, and watching the growing relationship between you all is wonderful. We love seeing friendships and new bonds, grow and be sustained throughout the show. What do you have to say, Erana, about the notion that Ashley may be a little intimidated, even maybe a little jealous of Joy and Clifton's presence on the cast? Do you think that's a real thing? Is that just a rumor that we're hearing, or how do you feel about that?
I don't think she's jealous of them being on the show. I think she
Mm-hmm.
could be possibly jealous of our relationship with the Petties. It's the
Really?
relationship. But them being on the show, I think she's okay with that because remember, she pitched them as well to be on the show.
Let's
As
get into
far as,
that,
yeah,
because that was a bit of a gray area, right? As far as what happened, because we saw on camera that you and Jamie Tyler as well said that you had, pitched them to production. So as far as a timeline is concerned, let's clear that part up about what
yes,
happened.
let's clear this up, please. Well, for
Yeah.
once and for all, this
Yeah.
is the last time I want to talk about this.
Because they here now, damn it. So look, what difference does it make? But just from your reflection, how did that take place?
So Clifton and Joy, we were actually hanging out before we started filming season 2.
Okay.
Clifton and my husband Jamie were having conversations in the DM.
Mm-hmm.
Clifton came to one of his events that he has. He brought Joy with him, and Joy and I hit it off, of course. She has a
Mm-hmm.
wonderful personality, of
She
course.
does.
And from that point on, we started hanging out. Like I said, my husband and I, we love hanging out with other couples, great
Mm-hmm.
couples. We were going on crab dates, just
Yeah.
hanging out, going to dinner, just having a good time. And I had mentioned Joy and Clifton to Monique. So Monique called me one time.
Mm-hmm.
This
Monique
is when
Samuels.
Monique Samuels. So Monique
Yeah.
Samuels, this is before I knew she wasn't even coming back on the show.
Okay, so
We
this is
were just
between
trying to
seasons 1
look
and
for
2.
another, yeah, this is season 2. We're
Okay.
looking for another couple.
Mm-hmm.
Called me and said, hey, I have a conference call with Carlos King, not
Yes.
production.
Uh-huh.
Carlos
Carlos
King. I
himself.
know, Ashley said she pitched it to the production.
Mm-hmm.
I went straight to Carlos King. So she
Oh,
said, I got
okay.
a conference call with Carlos King. I'm calling you to see, if you have any couples in mind, because we're going to get on the phone. I said, I sure do. I said, Joy and Clifton, they were on Ready to Love, already on the OWN network. I think they will be a great addition to the show. I said, they were already, a love interest on the show, Ready to Love. People, are going to be following them to see, what's happening now, because they have a
Right.
huge audience, huge fan base. I said, they would be perfect. I said, I know Joy sings. She's an entertainer. I said, I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to send you their Instagram pages. I'm going to send you a few videos of her, performing and things like that. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, I believe they're engaged. I think I knew they were engaged at the time. I said, they're engaged. I said, so they could possibly, get married and,
Married on the show.
somebody can
Yeah.
follow through, through their life. And she said, okay, send me everything. And I still have the DMs to
Mm-hmm.
Monique, Monique Samuels
Mm-hmm.
sending her everything. And she was like, okay, I'm about to get on a call with him now. Thanks, boo.
Yeah.
She said she sent everything to Carlos. And I just saw Monique last week. I did her radio show. We talked about it and we were
Yeah.
laughing. Monique said,
Yeah.
I still got the text messages on my phone. I said, I know.
Wow.
I said,
Okay.
but everyone else wants to say that they, brought them on the show. I don't care personally
Yeah.
who on the show. I'm glad they're on the show, but I
Right.
just don't like the fact that this person is just trying to get all the credit. I put you on the show, not Raina, not Jamie. We all
Yeah.
had input on getting this couple on the show.
Yeah.
All pitched. So, for once and for all, we all had input in getting Joy and Clifton on the show. My
Right.
information went straight to Monique. Monique sent it straight to Carlos King.
Yeah. Okay, well, listen, I think at the end of the day, you and Ashley Silva both love and marriage DC. And if anything, this represents the fact that you both were actively looking for something to make the show better, right? Or to benefit the show. And so however they got here, they're a welcome addition this season. And
I'm
we
glad
love
they did.
watching yes, we love watching these stories develop. Um, how did you feel about um uh how did you feel about Winter's relationship with her new partner Yusha, right? Now we're seeing this grow. We know that you had some clear feelings about Winter's history and her time on the show. How do you feel seeing her in this new relationship? Is she happier to you? Is this creating any sort of bridge and like communication with you and her? Like, how do you feel about her and Yusha?
Oh, how do I feel? I like Yusha. I like
Okay.
Yusha. Um, I don't know if it's real though. I gotta
Okay.
like, I don't know if the relationship is real.
Because what
Although
did he say
he's a
when she said "I love you"? Didn't he say "I care about you"?
yeah,
He
it's
responded,
not,
yeah.
and I'm really good with looking at people and scoping
Hmm.
things out. I sit back and I'm very observant.
Yeah.
That's why I know about this Miss Carmen thing. But going
Hmm.
back to you, should
Hmm.
it just doesn't seem real to me. It doesn't seem like a real connection.
Yeah. Okay. How much time have you gotten to spend with them together? Have you seen a lot of them together functioning as a couple, or have you seen basically what we've seen as viewers?
Whatever you all have seen.
Okay. Okay. So no,
I'm
so
telling
we're
you
not
right
getting any
now,
closer.
Dustin, I don't hang out with Winter or Yusha or
What
any
do
other
you think
love
it is,
interest you might
Raina?
have.
Because I we love seeing you in friendship mode, in friend mode. You've been a great support, greatly present. You participate actively in the friendships that you do have. And even as we saw you and Ashley's relationship developing and growing, we saw you being an active participant in that friendship. What do you think it is that is not connecting you and Winter in that way at this point? What do you think it
Let's
is?
go back to season one
Hmm.
when she received these fake receipts in her inbox about me, my husband, and my son Jason, who has a
Mm,
disability, and put
mm,
it on TV like it
mm,
was real tea. I never forget things.
yeah.
Now, from that point, we did move on, cordial, but Winter has said numerous things after that on YouTube, on her lives. She just been talking out the side of her neck. Even if we
Mhm.
have a conversation, we try to move past. I say, look, Winter, I'm not doing this with you. Like we
Mm.
either gonna move on or we're not. You can't keep going on lives talking about me and my family, but then turn around the next day and be like, oh, everything's fine. Let's move on. I'm like,
That's how our
Winter,
voice sounds
we're not,
around.
yeah, we're not doing it. So I never forget what people say.
Mhm.
And I can't
Yeah.
trust you. If you're going to continuously keep saying things about me and my family, or pulling up dirt or taking receipts from people who don't have a pot to piss in or nothing, don't know anything
Mhm.
about us,
Mhm.
I can't get down with you like that. So that's one of the reasons why Winter and I will never be, we would never hang out. We would never be friends.
Has she ever offered you any sort of apology or explanation for that moment or
I'm
the
sure
decision
she
on her
has.
behalf?
I'm sure she has, but then after the apology, she go back on her live and
Mhm.
say, wait, Raina, you know, she's this and that, and her husband and this and that. And that's the part I could not get over. I'm like, Winter, you say you apologize one day, and the next day you on live again talking shit. You
Yeah.
know, so I can't get down with people like that. Like my friend circle, we're not operating in that manner. My
Yeah.
friends are not gonna talk to me, talk about me. They're not gonna share personal information about me. It's just I can't trust you. And if I can't trust you, I don't want to be around you.
Yeah. For sure.
And
For
another thing,
sure.
Dustin, so you gotta understand, it's a huge age difference between
Mhm.
actually I and Winter. I would be
Okay.
50, I would be 50 this year.
Where? 50
Yes,
where, Irena? Because you do not
50.
look 50 years old. You look incredible.
Yes,
You
I
know,
would
you
be
get out
50.
there and run and you do your thing with the physical
Yeah,
fitness.
yeah, and I know
You
it's a
look
lot
great.
hard for people to tell between the girls. And Ashley's in her 30s. And
Wow.
Ether's in with her early, maybe 40. You know, so it's a 10 to
Wow.
maybe 11 or 12-year difference amongst us. You know,
Wow.
so and I
Yeah.
think that's a reason too, because I'm older. I'm not gonna say older and wiser, but I'm more mature. Like in certain situations, I handle
Yeah.
things different.
Yeah. The
Know what I'm
approach
saying?
is
And
different.
you can see, you can tell the age difference on certain situations that we dealing with. You be like,
That
oh,
makes it That makes a lot of sense. And I don't think it's
yeah.
something we consider as viewers because we just see you all engage with each other and assume because you look so young, we assume that, you guys are actually peers. And you are in some aspects you are, but there is an age difference. And when it comes to life experience and using wisdom as opposed to being led by emotion,
Handle
that
things a
that
lot different.
matters. Yeah, that's relevant. And
So
the
when
age difference in Quicksilver and Jamie Tyler is the same. It's about the same,
dang,
right?
Jamie will be
Okay.
51 this year. I think Quick is like in his mid 40s.
Okay. Okay.
So it's a different, the way we handle situations is gonna be totally different.
Yeah.
And
What's
what they're blowing off the handle and fussing and getting all upset about, I'm just like, well, it doesn't make sense. Like, why would you get upset about that? And I'm
yeah.
going back to Christmas Eve. Like I'm checking on both of you girls. I
Mhm.
assume that we're all friends right now or friends. So if I check on Joy, I'm coming back to check on you, but you have an issue with that. Somebody that's a more mature person would never say, well, you went to check on her first. Get the fuck out of here. They
Mhm.
would be like, oh, okay, well, thanks for checking on us both and move on.
And it makes a lot more sense too now that you've added a little bit more context to the development of your friendship because it reflected a lack of confidence in the bond, right? For Ashley to have that sort of a reaction, which fair enough. Now that you've mentioned that you guys have basically built this relationship in front of us, she wasn't sure, right? So that I think is reflected in her reaction, but it's so much more clear now that you've added that. So thank you for adding that context. We saw that the guys got together this past episode and had their event. They hung out and spent a little time together, and Black was there.
Mhm.
We saw him in the studio with Winter. What's going on with you and Sharella right now? What's your relationship like? Have you seen her? Are we going to see her more this season or what's going on with that? You're already shaking your head.
So no, later on in the season, you'll see Sherelle and I kind of we get we
Engage.
we get better.
Okay.
We get better. So we're not just coming around each other trying to bite each other head off.
Okay,
We get
good. We'd like to
better.
see
We
that.
get better, but as far as our relationship, there's no relationship.
Okay.
We're cordial, which is good. So we're not fussing and fighting when we get around each other, but we have no relationship.
Okay. Well, that's a mature take, right? You can be cordial, you can be around each other, but you don't really have to fuck with them like that. So I
And
understand what
there
you're
you go.
saying. I understand what you're saying. Well, listen, Erana, it has been a pleasure catching up with you today. We are, as fans of the show, we've enjoyed you since day one, and we're so grateful to be able to enjoy you again in season 3.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll be chatting again in the upcoming weeks. So until next time, Erana.
Thank you, Dustin.
All right, you take care.
Bye bye.